Card Dog action live pregame before one of the most historic weekends of NFL football we've ever seen. I don't know how we can follow up last week's games, right? Joe Burrow has lined our pockets with profits from his rookie cards. He's done some unbelievable things so far this season. Can he take it to the Super Bowl? We've got some of the biggest games in NFL history going down today with the second-year Joe Burrow going up against the legendary Patrick Mahomes after beating Josh Allen in that overtime game last week. We've also got the underwhelming Jimmy Garoppolo, but with an incredible playoff record, going up against Matt Stafford and the Rams, who have arguably got the best roster in the NFL. So we're going to be talking about some live betting on Underdog Fantasy. We're going to be looking at some live lines. They've got some really interesting player prop bets on the over-unders that I'm excited to share with you about. They've kind of mixed it up a little bit for us, added some really interesting bets that we can make today. We're going to talk about that. And then before we get out of here, there's some breaking news going down in the NFL right now that I want to talk about and want to look at how this is going to affect some of these players' rookie cards. We're going to look at the market on eBay. We're going to look at some guys on there, maybe do some comping, maybe do some live auction hunting sniping. So let's dig in, guys. What's going on? Matt, Jets Crazy in the house. Joel, Af, David Hunter. Yeah, David Hunter just spilling the news right here in the chat, man. End of the era, potentially. We haven't got the official announcement from Brady yet. We'll talk about that later in the live stream for sure. Joel, he says, I'm holding Burrow. Might take a slight loss after tonight, maybe. But for long term, I think he will be Mahomes' prices. And that would be unbelievable, right? Because of all the additional variety that they printed in 2020. The additional print run, too. Even if you were to compare like the base rated rookies or the base prism, and you were to try and compare those between 2017, you're going to find leaps and bounds, more availability across the board. Any marketplace you look at, you know, we'll talk about. Maybe we'll talk about some of the big news from some of the other marketplaces that I think you guys have heard about. Some speculation around what's going on with Star Stock. Very fascinating storyline to follow. So we definitely want to cover that. We got a Let's Go Chiefs from Nicholas in the chat here with the zebra there screaming the Let's Go Chiefs. I just hope that they're close games, guys. I hope that we get some really close games today, and they're very exciting. Man, I'm ready to look at. So let's go ahead and throw up. The Hitman was supposed to join me again today. You guys know that he had some internet issues on Thursday night, and he just texted me and said this can't be real life because he's dealing with some internet issues again. But that's not going to stop us from. We're gonna hash out this action here. Hello, wait a minute. I got some Scaladesi here popping in the chat, popping in the broadcast booth. Scaladesi.
What's up, man? You wouldn't believe the nonsense I'm dealing with over here. A 1-day-old modem is already not working. So yeah, it just went out 10 minutes ago. So I'm on the mobile. No. I'm on the mobile device. We're going ghetto today, but I'm here and we're gonna get this taken care of. So
you're here, man. That's what's important, man. The Hitman is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Sure. So if you're just joining this live stream, go ahead and smash that like button for the fact that Steve was able to find his way into the broadcast booth. And what I was just talking about, Steve, is that we've got some very interesting props that Underdog Fantasy has added to the slate today. Some single play props that I think are very compelling, very interesting. And I want to talk about this because I've been studying the analysis around these two games today all week long. So let's dig in, man.
Let's go. We got it.
Let's do it. So the first thing obviously we want to cover is this Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs game, a game where the Chiefs are favored by 7 points. And what I was talking about before you hopped on, Steve, is that, you know, Joe Burrow has lined our pockets with profits from his rookie cards this year. He's had a
Yeah,
phenomenal finish to his season. Now he's in the championship game. Can he make it to the Super Bowl, Steve?
it does have that feel good vibe to it, doesn't it? I think most people want to see Joe Burrow succeed, and Cincy, who's never won a Super Bowl. I think not too many people hate Mahomes, but I think a lot of people maybe are like having the Tom Brady effect, where they're just tired of them winning. So I think it would be phenomenal for them to win. They can win, but let's not forget how good KC is. So this is going to be an interesting game.
I just hope that it's very close, man. But you're right. The underdog story from Joe Burrow going all the way back to his high school and college days is a fascinating storyline. And now for him in his second year after coming off the horrific knee injury to make it this far. And there's arguably the best receiving duo in the league is got to be Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So when I look at these prop bets, do you see some of the prop bets that they've added here, man? A 39.5 yard longest completion.
Okay. That's interesting.
A 4.5 yard longest run.
I think what's interesting is depending on if Tyrann Mathieu plays, I think that that secondary could get lit up.
He's
bad.
active.
He is active.
Check the injury status on Tyrann Mathieu. Cleared concussion protocol. He is active today.
All right.
Shout out to Brad Nolan there in the chat with the Chiefs. Got Blaine York in the house as well. He's holding Burrow. There's a lot of guys in the chat, Steve, that are holding those Burrow rookie cards. Even if he loses tonight, they feel long-term that that he has clearly shown enough to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Part of this new era, we got all these guys retiring, and Burrow is definitely part of the new era of elite quarterback in the NFL. No doubt about that.
100% agree. I've had a good feeling about him from the beginning, and that's why, I got a lot of his cards for myself, and I recommended the same for other people. And I think that today could be a big part of his story. I think that, no matter what happens, he's already making the name for himself that he's for real.
So if he is for real, with the dynamic duo of Jamar Chase, I think Jamar Chase will likely face double coverage all game. I can't imagine that the Chiefs going into this championship game have watched them the last several weeks and say, hey, we've got to double coverage Jamar Chase, right? And so that means T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd will dominate one-on-one, right, against the secondary. The Chiefs secondary has allowed 114.5 passer rating this season. That's the 5th worst mark in the league. That's even with Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, on the field.
Yeah, and he's active, but is he going to be 100%? And even if it is, like you just said, even if he is 100%, you have to ask yourself, is it enough? Is it enough to stop the onslaught, the Joe Burrow onslaught? He's been on fire. He's been chucking it downfield. And I think you're right. I think that, we predicted a couple of weeks ago for T. Higgins to explode, and it didn't happen. But then the next week he did. So I think it's only a matter of time till he does it again. And you're right. They might double Jamar Chase, but that might not even be enough to stop him. So I could see all three guys honestly having a good game. Yeah.
It comes down to the Bengals. If they can keep Joe Burrow clean, he took 9 sacks last week against Tennessee, and he was still able to throw for like 330 passing yards. If they can keep Burrow clean today, watch out. I mean, he's going to keep things close in this game. And I think when I look over here at I'll see a lot of these getting grayed out, but I look at a Jamar Chase 29.5, Jamar Chase 90.5 total. But I look at this T. Higgins of 70.5, and I look at this Tyler Boyd of 17.5, longest reception. Right now, I feel really good about the over on all of these Higgins and Boyd props right here.
Are those for like single play, you said?
Yeah, so the Tyler Boyd, 17.5 yards, longest reception. That's a single play.
Okay.
T. Higgins, 26.5, yards longest reception. That's a single play. I really like that one. I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and smash the over on that one.
I dig it. I like that. What do they got for Mr. Uzama?
Uzama has got a 16.5 yard longest reception. Uzama's also got a 36.5 total receiving yard over under.
Sorry, I'm trying to get my camera situated here. I should say my phone situated. Is that going to work? Right, I'll just set it there for a second. There we go. All right, back in business.
I'll let you. I want to get your opinion on the Uzoma before I move on to the Kansas City Chiefs line here.
Let's see. Yeah, sorry, I'm on my phone, so you might have to read them to me because that text is kind of small. So.
Yeah. So Uzoma's got a single prop of 16.5 longest reception and a total yardage of 36.5.
That's not bad. I don't think that's bad. I mean, honestly, I think both QBs, you could make the argument, are going to throw for over 300 yards today, most likely. So the odds are definitely in his favor, unless somehow Jamar Chase goes off for 250 again. But I don't see that happening. That's anomaly. That's not going to happen every week. 35.5 is not terrible. What do you think about that?
It's not terrible. However, Uzoma has been one of the more volatile tight ends in the league, and he's had 2 back-to-back weeks where he's hit this over. But before that, if you go back like all the way to week 11, he's only had more than 36.5 receiving yards a couple times. And so I'm really hesitant on that. I don't think there's a tremendous amount of value in this Uzoma one compared to like the Higgins and the Boyd ones.
I agree. Yeah, I think I like the receivers better. Not that he can't snap off a long play, but those guys are a little more consistent.
Yeah.
So even though they're, the single play props are a little bit risky, but if I'm taking one, I would rather go with the receiver who can, juke and do some Gabe Davis stuff and break ankles.
Yeah, I expect the Chiefs offense to also put up a lot. The last time that they played the Bengals, they didn't have their left tackle Orlando Brown or running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So everyone on the offense right now, though, is practicing, expected to play. I think the Mahomes rushing here. I think Mahomes, I think you and I talked about this last week about Mahomes. He gets into playoff scenarios. He turns the Jets on, man, and that guy will not hesitate to tuck it and run up the middle of the field, as a play develops and all the receivers are on the outside of the field. He'll gash up the field for 35 yards and no problem. And we got a 14.5 longest run here from Mahomes. That's easy one run from him.
Yeah, I mean, and you said it without me even having to go into it. He will do whatever it takes to get the play that needs to get done. He'll put his body on the line if he has to, and he's Tom Brady. When the game's on the line, but with legs, right? He can get the ball down the field with his legs, and that definitely makes him special. And I think he will do it today if he has to.
Absolutely think he will do it today. Shout out to Blaine and Shelly in the chat saying, let's go Higgins. Blaine loves him some Uzoma because he's from Auburn, the War Eagles. So I'm personally, I'm gonna not touch the Uzoma at the 36.5. If it was, if he had like a 50 something receiving yard over under, I'd honestly be smashing the under on it in this game, but I think it could go either way. It's not a bad idea to do 2 slips, 1 over, 1 under on him, but we've got, a lot of juicy props here between the two teams. And so I want I want to keep going down the list here and see if there's any other ones that that pop off to you here, Steve.
I'm definitely more in favor of like the overall yardage over unders or receiving yardage over unders versus like the single play ones. But yeah, if there's one that seems juicy enough, definitely throw it in. Tyreek Hill, what's that one? So was that 74 yards for him?
So Tyreek Hill's got a 6.5 receptions over under. He's got a 25.5 yardage longest reception over under, and then he's got a total 78.5 receiving yards over under.
Okay. The 78's not terrible. He's been another guy that we've talked about it last week that's very volatile, but this is for the Super Bowl. This is where big things happen, and unless they double him too and make Kelsey win the game, it's hard to say. You think what are you feeling about 78? I think it's achievable.
I think 78 is very achievable from Tyreek Hill. This is an easy number for him to hit if he gets going at all. And the way we saw that game go last week, I mean, I think that, looking at the wide receiver cornerback matchup between Tyreek Hill and the Bengals secondary, there's definitely an advantage for Tyreek Hill. So I like it. I think you can go over on Tyreek Hill.
Bengals secondary, they can occasionally make some big plays, but they're not very consistent.
Indeed. Yeah, indeed. I also like this Travis Kelce 6.5 receptions.
Definitely. Yeah, I could see like a 7 to 10 reception game out of him. They always lean on him all game, and they especially lean on him, when it's late game when they need the win. So is there any interception props this week? I like my interception props.
There in fact is not any interception props on this first game here at 3, believe it or not.
Because we definitely, despite Burrow not throwing an interception for, I think it was like 5 weeks, I said I had a feeling on it, and we had definitely won that one a couple weeks ago. Or was that last week or the week before?
We did, man. Yeah, we got the pick on Burrow. We tend to get those a lot of times. Let's see if there's one on the next game. There's not one on Jimmy. We'll have to look at Matt Stafford, because I'd probably take the over on that as well. But yeah, no interception props. I think from this game right here, this is a pretty good slip, man. We got to add one more. Probably got to do it from the Bengals side. I mean, we didn't pick a Joe Burrow over under, but this 290 passing yards, I think he goes over this today. There's a lot of static or feedback coming in on your end.
Yeah, I think if you remember the first time I had to go to the phone because of the overheating issues, I think I might be having that problem again. So it did seem like it stopped for a second here, but if it keeps going, we might have to bounce out for a second, let the phone cool off, and come back in. Are you still hearing it?
No, we're pretty good right now.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and submit this slip. Joe Burrow over on the 290. We're going to submit a slip right here, guys. If you're just joining the live stream, go ahead and smash that like button. Let that YouTube algorithm know we're doing some live betting on underdogfantasy.com. If you're a new user, you have not yet signed up for Underdog Fantasy, I highly recommend you do so. Obviously, you can potentially 10, 20x your money based on single-player prop bets. And if you're a new user, you can sign up today and get a 100% instant deposit bonus using promo code QUEST. And that'll also earn a special place in my heart here. We're going to go to Michael Elias in the chat. We're going to put this slip in right here, and then we are going to pop over to the chat here and do a little card dog action, what we like to talk about, some cards as well here, of course, on the Football Card Quest. And Michael Elias wants to know what we think of Zach Wilson rookie cards. The rookie on the New York Jets that's got the same birthday as Tom Brady. Steve, how do you feel about Zach Wilson rookies? He did finish the season pretty strong.
I think that I was going to mention that. I think that actually complicates the answer because it's not very simple. If he had continued to play the way he started the season, I think it would have been an easy choice to just say, sell it while you can, and buy low when the off season comes around. But now it's a little more complicated because he has played well towards the end of the year. So I think that if in the off season, if you can get them for bottom barrel prices, which at some point is going to happen, I think it's not a bad snag. Although I can't say I'm that excited about really any of the quarterbacks for 2021 right now. They didn't really have much of a showing in their inaugural season, which is to be expected. There's not really a lot of guys that come out blazing their first season, but I'm not too keen on them. To be personally honest.
Yeah, I will say that his performance was up and down. There was definitely some struggles for him coming out of the gate. He did finish this season strong. He does have a lot going for him in the sense that he is a rookie and he's on one of the biggest market teams in the NFL. And right now, depending on what New York does in the upcoming draft, I need to dig into what they're forecasted to do in the upcoming draft because I think this is going to affect his stock. I think that there are certainly going to be demand for his rookie cards leading into the draft. Right now, we're seeing an overall trend up in football cards. We do know that there's some kind of glue shortage, supply chain shortage that's preventing Panini from releasing new sets. The release dates for Prism, Optic Select have all been pushed out. And so we have a very limited availability still for 2021 rookie cards. And so that presents an opportunity because there's a perception of scarcity in the market for their rated rookies and their illusions and the kabooms and some of these other nicer cards that are out for them. Like you've got, I believe, the Immaculates. I'm sure I'm missing some sets, but we don't have nearly all the sets out there. There's roughly 30 to 40 different sets in total for a specific draft class right now from Panini, and we've only got like 10 of those out. So I think that you could potentially look at flipping some of his cards right now, like buying them low and flipping them into the draft. If maybe they draft a wide receiver, an offensive lineman in the first round that's going to buy Zach Wilson more time. That kind of thing is definitely going to increase his stock, Steve.
Yeah, there's definitely some glimmers of excitement with him. He had some nice runs towards the end of the year. He showed some high energy, and he did have some receiver woes. Like they did have a lot of their receivers hurt for a lot of the year. So I think it's just a matter of, well, first of all, the running game will be back. Michael Carter looked pretty good halfway through the year, and I think there may be like alpha wide receiver away from being good. They have some good receivers, but I think if they had a really good receiver or even another B tier receiver to add to the core they have, it would be really nice for them.
That would be really nice for them. I do like Spectra, Steve. I do like Spectra. Thank you for that super chat, Michael. How do you feel about Spectra? You actually put me on to these neon meta here from Spectra, and I think another really cool thing about these Spectras is they're all serial numbered, Steve.
I bought more Spectra already in 2021 than I have in past years, and I think the other sets look good. I think in particular these look really good. In comparison, especially the black and white image variation ones, the blue, I don't know what you'd call them, blue neon, I think it's called, and the metas and the pink neons as well. most of those are all out of 25. And I mean, that's just super nice. The black and white image variation, even though I think they're out of 75 or 99, I think are the nicest looking ones.
I have not seen this retro yet, but this looks like something straight out of Tron. Does this not remind you of Tron or what?
Oh, that's definitely some 80s looking ad on there, or like an ad logo. What's that? Is that out of Spectra too?
Yeah, this is apparently an SSP. With the price that this sold for, it almost makes it seem like it's some kind of case hit.
Yeah, like their Kaboom version, perhaps.
Yeah. I am digging the Tron mountain background look and the neon colors and stuff. This is a pretty cool card right here. Not sure I would spend $400 on it, but I mean, if it's a case hit, and I could see a big Jets fan spending that kind of money on this card. I mean, Zach Wilson, he's going to drive a lot of FOMO. You know, he's brand new. We haven't seen a ton out of him yet. People are still going to give him. He finished the season strong. People are going to, just like Trevor Lawrence, people are going to give him another chance this upcoming season, and their stock's only going to go up if they draft some better supporting cast members and potentially better coaching as well.
Yeah, I think, it really hurt them having, some of their receivers out for most of the year. It's hard when you're developing a quarterback if he's got no one to throw the ball to. And before Michael Carter really stepped up, their running game was non-existent. So it's hard to get really any offense going when that's the case. I think there was weeks where he was barely eclipsing 100 yards early on,
No doubt. So, Steve, let us go back to the pick'ems, and we need to talk about the San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams in SoFi Stadium. Just a little drive down the coast for those 49ers, man. And this is only a 3.5 point game from Vegas. The Rams are only favored by 3.5 points. And there's an unending narrative around Jimmy Garoppolo. And who do you have more trust in this game at 6:15 tonight or 6:30? The Jimmy Garoppolo or Matt Stafford?
I've actually, being a Bears fan, I've seen Stafford play his whole career, and he's tough as they come, and he's got a cannon arm, and he's smart. We saw him make some uncharacteristic mistakes earlier in the year, but I think that he's the real deal. And if I had to, get a franchise going with either of those guys, it's going to be Stafford for sure.
Stafford is definitely the more talented quarterback. But what I find so interesting about this game, Steve, is that they just have not asked Garoppolo to do nearly as much as the Rams have asked Stafford to do. Sure. It'll be really interesting, right? Cam Akers had a pretty atrocious game last weekend against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 2 fumbles in that game, which I think that he can make up for. And he's very explosive. He's come back in a huge way from the Achilles. And, he was featured against that game against the Cardinals, and they featured his training regimen and everything. But the Rams always ask Stafford to air it out, and they give him that liberty to air it out with Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham Jr., Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee. And so the 49ers, they don't ask Garoppolo to do that. We know that they're going to establish the run game between Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel, and I expect like more of that. So it's that's what I find is so interesting about this game, to see if Jimmy Garoppolo has got a safer floor than Stafford because he has to do less. There are fewer opportunities for him to make a big mistake.
I do agree with that. And I'm not saying that, I was just saying as far as skill, like raw quarterback skills go, I would definitely go with Stafford. But he's shown he doesn't have to do everything for them to win. And I think that's kind of unique too, because, that being a good game manager isn't as easy as people think it is. Not turning the ball over and, changing the play at the line into a run or whatever it is. And, he's found a winning method that works for him and works for the Niners. And it's hard to argue with success. And I think that's why his rookie card sales are going up, despite the fact that he's not necessarily performing well himself.
And plus, let's talk about the 49ers defense, because the 49ers defense has, I think, an added benefit in the fact that they don't have to bring any extra blitzers. They've earned an 82.3 team pass rush grade when sending 4 or fewer pass rushers this season. That's the third best mark in the league, and a lot of that's driven from Nick Bosa. He's an absolute monster. And so they have a 34% pressure rate on those snaps, which ranks second. And so that's going to leave an extra man in coverage to potentially double cover Cooper Kupp to make sure Odell Beckham and Van Jefferson's covered. So I just, how do you feel about I kind of really wish there was a Matt Stafford interception. Oh, it's on here. It's on here. We got one, man. We got a Matt Stafford interception.
Those are my favorite, man. Those are my favorite.
It's a smash over. Matt Stafford throws one interception in this game. That's all we need.
And if it was the other way around, not to say that Garoppolo doesn't throw picks, but just on the sheer math, he doesn't throw the ball nearly as much. So, the odds of him throwing an interception as a game manager are not as high as if Stafford's throwing the ball 44 times in a game.
So I'm going over on the Matt Stafford interception. The other thing that I like is between Brandon Ayuk, who's still, I think, a very good elite wide receiver, and Deebo Samuel, which they've used him a lot more like Cordell Patterson lately. He's going to get some handoffs here. I want to see if there's a rushing Deebo Samuel prop. We have actually there was a 99.5, but that one's gone. There's a few Elijah Mitchell. Let's see if there's a carries prop. No carries prop on Elijah Mitchell. But I think that this is a George Kittle game. I think this is going to be a much bigger George Kittle game over the middle of the field, because the Rams linebackers that drop in coverage over the middle of the field are not nearly as proficient as their edge rushers and D-line. Between Aaron Donald, Von Miller, they're bringing pressure almost every time, and Jalen Ramsey's going to drop deep with probably Brandon Ayuk or one of those guys. I think this is a George Kittle game, Steve. How do you feel about George Kittle?
Definitely agree. The Madden 99 overall players on the Rams are in the front line, and in the Jalen Ramsey and in the back line. And, the guys in the middle aren't terrible, but they're not on Kittle's level, in my opinion. So I do think that's going to be able to do some damage across the middle of the field.
Yeah, so the 53.5 receiving yard has been taken off. I guess too many people have hammered that. But we can go with the 4.5 receptions, which I feel like he's going to hit the over on that.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
And this Brandon Ayuk prop of 49.5, I mean, he's got to have more than 0, I'm sure, one target against Green Bay. That was very game script specific, and the weather and everything else in that game. But I don't know. Something in me wants to hit the under on Brandon Ayuk in this game at 49.5 receiving yards.
We're due for an under, and like we've said all show so far, I don't think they're going to win the game on the arm of Garoppolo. So not everyone on the Niners can get an over. Somebody's going to have to go under today. And, one guy's going to kind of have to lead the charge. That could be Deebo and Kittle, or Deebo or Kittle. But it's definitely not going to be all three of them unless they come out with an unexpected air raid. But it hasn't been them all year, so I don't think it's going to be them today.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about this Rams side of the ball. Shout out to some new people that just joined the chat here. I see Jamel Lee asking about the Star Stock situation. Stick around, Jamel. We'll talk about the Star Stock situation here in a few minutes before we sign off. But we got about 30 minutes left before kickoff, 3 o'clock game. So we definitely want to talk about the rest of these prop bets, and then we'll dig into some more card action. So if you guys are just joining, smash that like button. Steve.
Yes, sir.
Matt
What do we
Stafford.
got? What do we got?
Cam Akers. Do you feel this is a bounce back game for Cam Akers? I know the San Francisco defense is pretty good at bringing pressure, pass rush pressure. However, I think that the way the San Francisco defense brings pressure sets up well for the Rams to lean on Cam Akers more in this game. If McVay can forget about those fumbles from last week, which was potentially an anomaly. I don't know how you feel about that. Do you feel that the game plan McVay comes out of the gate here? The 49ers are adamant about establishing the run, controlling the ball. They want to keep the ball out of Stafford's hands from going deep to Cooper Kupp and that kind of stuff. Do you think McVay pivots on his game plan a little bit and leans on Cam Akers more in this game? And if so, do you like any of these Cam Akers props here?
Let's see. What is that? 60.5 rush yards? Is that what that says?
Yeah, you got a 60.5 total rushing yards from Cam Akers over under. You got a 13.5 longest run, which I feel is very enticing. You also have a 19.5 receiving yard over under. The screen game is very effective against the blitz.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really feeling Cam Akers today, to be honest with you. I think he'll have maybe like 55 yards and a touchdown, maybe some receiving yards, but yeah, I don't know. I think that I do think the front of the pass rush is going to get into the backfield often enough, and I think that he's going to have a hard time getting the run going.
Well, then if that's the case, then we smashed the under on Cam Akers rushing yards of 60.5.
Rock on.
Cooper Kupp's got 102.5 receiving yard over, total receiving yard over under. That's a big line, but he hits it. He hits it more often than not. Odell Beckham's got a 54.5 receiving yards. Van Jefferson, they're tempting you again with that 31.5. I saw that he's a go for today.
Yeah, that's rough because he, it's unfortunate. It's good and it's bad for the team, but as far as Van Jefferson goes, he was really gaining a lot of steam and momentum before the Odell Beckham acquisition, and definitely is obviously limiting his red zone shares have gone down, and his deep ball looks have gone down. So, is it still a good number? It's still a good number. 30 for even a guy that was a mediocre receiver, 30 yards is like an acceptable over under, right? And we're talking about a guy that's very skilled, is a deep ball threat. It's not a bad play. I know it's burned us before, but I think it's a pretty good play. How do you feel about it?
I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's not a bad play at all. I think the Cooper Kupp one is the obvious go-to, right? I mean, in 2 games against the 49ers this season, Cooper Kupp's stat lines have been 11 for 122 and 7 for 118. So it's like the chances of him hitting 102 over are pretty high when you think about it, right?
It is a magic season for him, so I think it would be really hard to continue to bet against him. I think he'll have a good game. You said it's 102 yards.
102 yards. So he's got, if you look at his previous 2 outings against the 49ers, he's got a 77% chance to hit the over on this.
He's been the guy. I as soon as I heard in the preseason that he was having breakfast with Stafford, I did buy some Cup rookies, and I sold all of them like the first 2-3 weeks of the season. So he's got the magic this year. I mean, I think that might be a good bet. I think he does it again.
Let's see how many picks we're at on this. We maxed out the slip, so this is perfect, man. I'm feeling really good about this slip. I'm gonna do another $10. Potential to win 200. Boom. Get us a little Titus bark in there to hype people up here. Michael Elias, David Hunter in the house. Brad Nolan says Debo equals decoy today. Shelly, everyone come to Atlanta Culture Collision Card Show February 25th. If you can, great show last year. Shout out to Shelly in Atlanta with the Culture Collision Card Show February 25th, y'all. So, real quick, we'll touch on some of the breaking news in the NFL, right? The Raiders hire a new head coach, Steve. Josh McDaniels from the New England Patriots is the Raiders' new head coach.
Awesome.
How do you feel that this affects? Yeah, this is pretty big. How do you feel that this affects the stock of one Derek Carr and guys like Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller?
I think if they waive the trade rumors of Derek Carr going somewhere else, that bodes really well for their season, and they definitely deserve to make the playoffs. And I think there's some receivers on that team that are going to make some big leaps this upcoming year. There's guys that didn't get a lot of looks earlier in the year, but when they did get looks, they made outstanding over the shoulder catches and stuff like that. So I don't think it was an anomaly when Carr threw for as many yards as he did. It could even be a better year next year if they keep the band together.
It could be big, man. It could be big. We could see a much better year from the Raiders offense. One sleeper on that team that I've really liked is Bryan Edwards. And I still haven't seen a full breakout. I'm not sure if that's because Carr spread the ball around a lot. He did gravitate towards Hunter Renfrow later in that season. Hunter Renfrow became the Cooper Kupp in the Raiders offensive system there, man. And we saw big value increases in Cooper Kupp's rookie card. Like, you were making good money if you had Cooper Kupp, bought him in October and sold him in January, then you easily tripled your money on that.
I agree with the Bryan Edwards. In fact, taking some advice out of the Quest playbook, I picked up 2 of his rookie ticket autos this week.
Ooh, picked up 2 rookie ticket autos, Bryan Edwards. That was a smart move, man. You're one step ahead of me there.
No, I'm. My whole theory is, come the playoffs, I'm shopping for next year already, right? The guys that are in the game still, those are the guys you're selling. The guys you're buying are the guys that are low hype now that have the ability to make a splash for next season. And I think that he's one of those guys.
I think so too, man. He's got the athletic profile to do it. He's got the college resume to show that he has done it in the past. Let's talk about Henry Ruggs for a second. Welcome to the chat, Bark Charlesley. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Love that little profile pic there. Bark was all in on Ruggs cards. Unfortunately, Ruggs involved in that horrific DUI car accident and now potentially looking at never playing in the NFL again. Probably a high possibility based on the circumstances surrounding that incident. Do you think he should just hold long term at this point or still try and sell?
Ooh, man. The Ruggs situation. You know what's interesting to me is there's a lot of people still buying his cards. And I don't think that that's a good idea personally. Now, if you can get them at a low enough price, I've seen some rookie ticket autos going for, I don't know. I think I put a couple bids on them before they got over $10. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he'll play again personally. I think if you can get money for him without losing money at this point, then yeah, I would sell him. But if you're very invested in the guy, it might just be worth hanging on to him a bit longer.
Yeah.
When I say very invested too, I mean like hundreds or thousands of dollars.
Yeah. I still see some sales activity around Henry Ruggs. So, I mean, honestly, I get him listed. I definitely accept offers lower. I'd be trying to liquidate personally, but yeah, I agree with you. If you're invested hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point, it can't hurt to hold. I mean, that's tough, but I would go ahead and definitely have them listed and potentially try and sell for 50 to 60% of even what you paid for the card to liquidate and get out of it. Look at the prices on these Brian Edwards rookie ticket autos, Steve, at 650 and 550. Are you kidding me?
You know what's interesting about that is if you looked up like Tyler Bass, who's the kicker for the Bills, like his rookie ticket autos have been going for like $15 to $22 range, and that's a kicker. So we're talking about a skill position player. I think that is absurd for those prices, and I can tell you, the ones I bought this week were numbered out of, I don't know what they were numbered out of, but I think it was out of 24. Both of them were, and I got them under $20. I couldn't believe it.
That's a confirmed stipe, Steve. There's just no doubts about it, man. It doesn't matter. I mean, we're talking a couple dollars for a card of this scarcity with the autograph and his youth and athletic ability. There's just no downside in these at all, even if you have to sit on them for a year,
At $5, $6, whatever. If you think about just about any guy on any team, right? And you look up their rookie ticket auto, it's probably that price or more, right? So you're talking about a guy that has breakout potential. He's showed signs of being very good. So the fact that they're still going for that cheap is just baffling to me.
Yeah, and it is baffling, man. So there's a wonderful buy low opportunity for you guys, especially because there's going to be vacated targets, and some of those are going to be funneled his way. Plus, and he's still on a rookie contract. Plus, we're talking about Henry Ruggs, and you can see here there's still considerable sales volume for Ruggs. So if you did want to sell, even for much lower than what you paid for the card, just to try and liquidate and get rid of those cards, you can do so. There are people out there that are still buying them.
That brings up an interesting topic, and I think, by Thursday, I will for sure have whatever problem with this modem situation is fixed, so we can get into some proper details on topics without me having to hold a phone in front of my face. But I would love to talk about. We're going to have a week without football before the Super Bowl, and I would love to talk about accepting offers and the concept of accepting an offer that might be, maybe not as high as you were planning to sell the card for, and maybe accepting an offer on a card that's lower than you bought it for. I think that's a good topic, and I think it's an important topic in the hobby, because in all reality, that's going to happen, and it does need to happen sometimes. If you're sitting on a card for too long, you may just need to liquidate it, just like you said. Or if the guy, has a crime he committed off the field and may never return, that might be something you need to consider to just recover what money you can from the investment instead of it being a total loss. So I feel like that's something that we can definitely get into more depth on next week.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to it. And we can't end this live stream without looking at some Joe Burrow auctions that are getting ready to end right now. I'm curious to see what.
Hey, I got one for you to look up. It's not the biggest home run card. It's not $4,000, $10,000, whatever. But I know it ends today, and it's if you look up 2020, I can't remember if it's immaculate or whatever, but it's a helmet card. It's like a piece of the helmet on the card, and it was, I think, still around like $200 or $300 last time I looked, and it is numbered. I think that's going to be a good buy for someone if it
Joe
doesn't
Burrow
go
card
boom at the last. Yeah, it's a Joe Burrow like helmet. I want to say it was immaculate. I can't remember because I can't pull my internet up, but yeah, that one.
There it is tonight at 11:22.
That's just a cool ass card to me. I think it's just a great card, man.
But man, if he wins today, this thing is going to go way up.
Think about it. That's a very unique relic card. It is a low number, and it's a rookie. I don't know what those go for because I just discovered that card today. But I mean, would it be obscene to say that card sells for over $400? I don't think so.
It's very interesting. Rookie helmet. Of course, not from any specific game or event. But I do like the design of the card. I'll say I do like the design of the card. And is it numbered? Yeah, it's numbered out of just 26. So it is very rare as well. That does seem like it's undervalued.
Yeah, it's nice looking, and it's from an expensive set, and I think it could pop at the last second, but maybe it doesn't. And if it doesn't, that could be a nice opening for someone to jump on, because people are going to be watching football later this evening.
Oh, hell yeah. Smash that like button if you guys are going to be watching football later this evening. I know I'm about to dig in, man. I got some chicken wings. I got some beers. I'm ready to go, man.
That's what's up. I agree. Yeah, and unfortunately, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. With my internet being down, I'm now gonna have to go to the local sports bar in the neighborhood here and watch the game there. And they actually have like a projector on the wall, one of those projection TVs, and this thing takes up the entire wall. It's like a 10-foot screen, if you will. It's massive. So I think that might be a blessing in disguise. I can maybe watch some history in the making on the big screen, the big screen.
Ooh, man. Yeah, that's going to be fun, man. That's going to be fun. I just really hope that it's close. I want to look at what the highest sale from Joe Burrow, if there's any of his record highest sales today. They're not going down. So it seems like I think there's a lot of people that think he's probably not going to win today is kind of what I'm getting. If people aren't shelling out the big bucks for him today. Now, if he wins today, I guarantee you we're going to see some of his highest sales go down this upcoming week.
He's going to set some personal records for card sales for sure if they win. I mean, more so if they win than if they lose. But if they lose, like in the fashion that the Bills lost, and he has like a 4-touchdown game, they might not fall off too much, right?
Now, yeah. However, we look at Patrick Mahomes. Big man Mahomes right here had a flawless BGS 9 here. This card is numbered 12 out of 25 with a 3-color patch on card auto. 12 out of 25 here. Best offer accepted from $75,000. So we got to do a little 130 point real quick. See what this bad boy sold for.
What are you guessing? I'm going to say 58.
58. Guys in the
Yeah.
chat, guess how much this. I'm gonna pull this off so you guys can't see. You guys guess how much do you think that this Patrick Mahomes flawless numbered out of 25 BGS 9? It does have a few 9.5, two 9.5s on centering and corners, edges 9, surface 8.5. Your guess was 58. Man, that sounds pretty good. So this is like the Price is Right. Like if you go over, it's like whoever gets closest but has to be under.
I think whoever's closest, just whoever's closest. Because I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff where like I think 58's a good guess, but I've seen ones like that where it's like they didn't take a lot off, but then I've seen ones where it's like half the price that they were asking for the card. So when you have cards that are priced that high, they're really just testing the market, you know.
Bark said 42,000. Raven says 63.5. Blaine says 47K. 402, 45.5. Steve Elmore, what's good, man? Steve says 55K. Michael says 62. I'll say this. Everybody has gone over so far. Blaster says 44. These guys in the low 40s have been closest. I looked before I could actually guess mine. But here, I'll pull it up. It's lower than all of this, which is pretty surprising. Somebody really wanted to make some money here. They took it. $40,000, guys.
Wow.
40.
No shit.
40K
dude.
on that.
That's a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money. It's amazing to think.
You know, here's the thing: is like you the reason people list those cards for that high is because there's maybe no precedent, you know, for that card in the current climate. So you have to list it for 75, hoping you can get 75. But deep down, you know, hey, if I could get 30 grand for this card, I would probably take it. And I think most people would.
Well, see, I think it was probably an impulse buy. I mean, it seems like a legitimate transaction, and it seems like when you see them in a buy it now format like that for that much money, I mean, that person just had to have a ton of disposable cash, right? I mean, it's kind of an impulse buy, wouldn't you think so? Because look at this card from yesterday. This is an optic on card auto. Not doesn't have a rated rookie logo, but this was like an optic insert with a patch there that's got 3 colors in the patch, some stitching, on card autograph. What? No, it's not on card. I take that back. That's a sticker, and this thing.
Sneaky.
And look at the price that this one went for. It's like, and this card is numbered out of just 20. So which one would you rather have in terms of value? I feel like this person got a very good value for what they paid. I'm going to look this one up. You guys, what's your guess on this one right here?
8,100.
8,100. All right. Let me pull the 130 point. Where's the 130? What did I do with the 130 point window? There we are. Let's pull that off. If this person got this for 8,100, I feel like that was a very solid deal, because this is a kind of card, man, that looks really well centered, really sharp corners. I mean, this card looks really clean, really good shape. I'd send that in to get graded. What's to say you can't turn around and then sell this sucker for?
You know what's interesting is I actually I look at a lot of listings. I haven't seen that card before, so it's maybe because it is so short print. But yeah, you're right. That card's in incredible condition.
And see, you guys are now, what's the word I'm looking for? You guys are now jaded by seeing how low that best offer was accepted. You guys are going to be shocked at how much this one was accepted for. James is closest here. What's good? James in the chat said 12K. He was actually closest because This guy didn't give much of a discount here. It was accepted for 14,000.
Wow. You know what? It's like I said when we were doing the analysis of the previous card. It could be just below what the asking price is because somebody wants to, finagle a little bit. But every once in a while, somebody really sticks them for, half price or whatever the asking price is for. And I guess when the listing is 75 grand, like that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of
15 grand's
money.
a lot of money too. But you could make the argument that Mahomes is a bit more established and it's a little bit of a safer investment.
This is a very interesting comment from Joel because it is very compelling, right? You think, how come this person did not send this card in to be graded? So Joel's kind of thinking here is something must be wrong with this thing for the person, the current owner, not to have sent this in.
That's a very interesting take, and it wasn't until recently that I saw an article about people that were legitimately swapping patches out of cards and into other cards, like taking like we talked about last week, like an all white patch, and they'll put in like a 3-color patch. It's pretty shady, but yeah, that's expensive. But you know what? Maybe who knows? The guy maybe won the card on a bet. Who knows? All I know is whoever gets that card better send it in.
Yeah, and so a challenging aspect is like, do you send it into PSA? But then you got to deal with that whole declared value thing from PSA, and then having to pay an arm and a leg to get your card back because of the value of the card after it's graded. So I honestly, and that's another reason why I'm a much bigger fan of SGC, their turnaround time, the submission levels, plus they've grown a lot in our industry. They've really developed a good standing in the card market. So, and BGS is very strict on grading as well. And they're a lot slower. So I like the SGC format. But it is interesting to think why this person never sent that card in. And maybe it was something that they won. Obviously, they've got a really nice collection here. So they've got like logo man basketball cards with.
You might know about this more than I do, but I want to say that there's a certain buyer protection from eBay, if I recall, if the card turned out to be like a forgery or something. Or
well, they just started doing the eBay authentication over $750.
Yeah, if it turned out to be something other than what the listing said it was, like the guy might be on the hook to refund them. If it turned out to be like send it to PSA and they're like, hey man, there's something wrong here.
So before we get out of here, guys, I think the game is just kicking off right now. And I know we're all tuning into that. This comment here from Michael: on-card autos more valued than sticker autos? I will say 100% yes.
Agreed. And I watched an interview with the card developing gentleman. He's in the whatever you'd call it, from Fanatics. He's in the product development department. And in an interview, so this isn't like locked in because they haven't done anything yet, but he said, hypothetically, they'd like to do away with sticker autos. So I think that's pretty interesting. And I think that's good because I think that the on-card auto adds value and it looks better, right? But let's be honest, Prism and a few other sets don't have on-card autos. So you're going to have to make some exceptions to the rule when you're buying certain cards, like 2020 Prism. As far as I know, they're all on-card, or they're all sticker autos.
All right, real quick before we let you get out of here, Scaldesi, give the people your pick. Bengals, Chiefs, who you got?
Straight up, no money line, or with the spread.
Win loss, baby.
Win loss. I'm gonna take Cincinnati by 3. Say what? Cincinnati by 3.
Cincinnati by 3. Wow. Okay.
And I'm actually going to go with the Rams as well. I think the Niners are going to put up a fight, but I think Stafford it's his time. Hey, man, that guy had to play in Detroit for most of his career. I think he's earned the right to get to the Super Bowl.
I like it, man. I am going with the Bengals as well. That's who I'm rooting for. I think it's going to be a very close game. I like the 0.3. I'm calling an Evan McPherson 59-yard field goal to win the game. And then I am going with the 49ers to upset the Rams.
Ooh,
I think we're going to have a repeat of, what was that, Super Bowl 28 when the Bengals and the 49ers played. It was back in Joe Montana days.
Interesting. Well, I don't think that KC is going to have a bad game per se, but something just feels right about the Bengals, man. Something just feels good, man. I think they're going to at least show up and put a show on for us.
It's the Cinderella story, man. It's a Cinderella story. So
if indeed the GOAT is leaving the game, there's going to have to be a new GOAT, right? There's going to have to be a new alpha in the league. And it might be one of these two guys in this game today. In fact, I believe it will be one of these two guys in the game today.
Let's go. All right, guys. Have fun today. Appreciate you hanging out with us here before the games, the championship Sunday. Have fun, and we will see you potentially tomorrow or sometime here early this week to break down all the action on the quest. Peace. That's right. Get a little extra hype here at the end for you guys. See y'all.